Hey guys, welcome to my podcast, Marie Nazria podcast, where I talk about different experiences I've had, insights I have, tools I've required. I've been in therapy for a very long time, and I'm very fortunate to have had that opportunity, and not everybody does. And there's actually also a lot of shame or stigma around seeing a psychotherapist or a therapist, and there shouldn't be, because I think we all need guidance. We all need support throughout our life. And sometimes our family can't give it to us, and sometimes our friends can't give it to us. And it's important, or it was important to me, to find a third party that, was outside of everything, that could really help me develop and express myself and feel like I'm in a safe space. And that's really how I want people to feel when they're working with me and talking to me about different experiences they've had. So very fortunate. And something I've learned so much in therapy, but something important is self-talk. How do we talk to ourselves? What do we say to ourselves? How do we support ourselves? I know many people who have very negative self-talk, and it's very painful. It's painful to see someone go through that. It's painful for someone to put it on you, etc. So we have to clean up those insides of ourselves, our thoughts, because they do not help us. So being self-critical, judgment, these things do not serve us at all. So we need to clear that up. And one of the ways to clear it up is to pinpoint it. I'm being critical. I'm being judgmental. I don't need to be critical. I don't need to be judgmental with myself. And when you have that and you start developing that, everything is a development. It's not just like, oh yeah, I got this tool, I'm gonna go and it's in my head. No, it's something we have to practice day in and day out. So your self-talk starting in the morning. And by the way, if you're negative to yourself or mean to yourself, it's okay, move forward. Because what's going to happen is, if you criticize yourself or you judge yourself and then you realize that you're doing that and then you get mad that you're doing that, you're really just feeding back into the negative talk. So if you find yourself being critical or judgmental to yourself, stop yourself, flag it, label it. I'm being critical, I'm being judgmental of myself. I don't want to do this. Move on, flip it, make something make something positive. And by working that out and working on that, you realize that you actually create a beautiful space for you to be positive within yourself, to stay positive within yourself. And it harbors energy, it harbors happiness. It's a healthy mind. And I think throughout life we have a lot of experiences where people criticize us, judge us, hurt us, betray us, etc. And it becomes part of us, and we become a version of ourselves that doesn't serve us, that doesn't work for us. So it's really critical, important to do this work on yourself. So otherwise, sometimes you can become your own worst enemy, and most of us are our own worst enemy. I know that, in my life, I have definitely been my own worst enemy, but I have learned that I really need to support myself. And what do I need to be supported? I need love. I need tenderness. I need understanding. I need care. I need respect. I need love. And before anything outside gives me these things, I have to give them to myself. And the only way I can do that is by being kind to myself, by being generous with myself, by being loving and nurturing with myself. So that all starts with the self-talk. So do different exercises. Put yourself in a situation where you're going to say something mean. Sometimes for a woman, it's in front of the mirror. So get in front of the mirror, start doing the thing that you do or saying the thing that you say, and then you stop yourself, and then you metaphorically pat yourself or soothe yourself, and you say, you know what, you're good the way you are. This is an example. I feel like I did not graduate college, and My high school education was not really a high school education, even though I graduated. But I feel like I've been very critical on myself about my successes, and I can't have success because I didn't go to college or something like this. But it's not true. It's not true at all. And if I would let my self-talk be negative, then I can never achieve the things that I've achieved. I've had a business for over 8 years. I became an interior designer. I'm now doing this podcast. And the truth is, when we have negative self-talk, we're just hurting ourselves. And actually, after we hurt ourselves, we're hurting the people that we love because we're not even aware of how we're talking to someone. So if you're very self-critical, judgmental, please, please, please be aware of yourself and know that it starts with you. And the only person who can control you or help you is you. So self-talk, practicing good self-talk, affirmations. The word, it bothers me too. And I know a lot of people, it bothers them as well. But I have to say, like, writing beautiful notes to yourself that are even like a little silly really goes a long way. I put Post-its everywhere, especially when I'm going through a hard time, that remind me, reassure me that I'm okay. This really worked for me. Maybe it's something else for you. And if it is, please share it with me. I would love to know what other tools there are for, disengaging the negative talk with ourselves. I think that it's just so fundamental and important for our health and success. It reminds me of this plant experiment where they took two plants and they ignored one or spoke very poorly to one, and then they played music for the other and gave it positive affirmations. And the plant that was ignored and verbally abused, it dies. It shrivels up and dies. It gets sick and it dies. And not to say that that's going to happen, but like, it's proven. We have to nourish ourselves. We have to be kind to ourselves. We have to love ourselves. We cannot search for that outside of ourselves until we have an understanding and a somewhat of a grasp of that within ourselves. So fundamentally important. Number one, self-talk, part of self-love, helps with limiting beliefs, helps with family and friends, helps with everything. Trust me. Have a beautiful day. I hope you love my podcast. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And I hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you.